welcome gymnastics fans to the Maturi Pavilion. We have a really exciting night here for you tonight, the Best of Minnesota meet. And that includes University of Minnesota Golden Gophers, Hamline, Gustavus, and Winona. And just to introduce ourselves, my name is Caitlin Rayon, and I'm here with my co-host, Jenny Lang. We were both University of Minnesota Gopher gymnasts, a long while ago, though.
It's been a hot minute, yes. But we love coming back to the pavilion and just seeing some beautiful gymnastics year after year. So we're excited to be back and commentate for you guys.
Yeah, and this is a super exciting meet, like we said, because it's Minnesota teams. And so we have a full house, and it really brings the state together in this big college gymnastics stage. It's also going to be, there's a lot of gymnastics happening tonight. You want to walk us through the format?
Yes, so with all 4 teams on each event, we're just going to go in continue in Olympic order. So Minnesota will start on vault. We have Hamline starting on bars, Gustavus on beam, and Winona State on the floor. And then we'll just keep going through.
Yeah. We are going to be showing the Gopher meets or the Gopher routines because it is a Gopher home meet. However, we are going to do our absolute best to make sure that we can show the other gymnasts on the other events.
We want to highlight everybody that we can.
Yes.
So some fun facts. Minnesota gymnastics hasn't gathered together since 2019. So this is the first time they're all back in the Maturi Pavilion for the Best of Minnesota meet. Gustavus has finished number 8 in the WIAC last season, and they finished 7th in the West Regional last March. So they have an exciting lineup coming from them. They have Sophia Redding and Brooke Mirla, 2 main competitors for Gustavus that had season high or career highs last season. So we're really excited to see them compete on the floor. And then moving to Hamline, they welcome 11 new freshmen to the team, so a lot of new blood, new faces, and really excited to see their beautiful gymnastics out here. They had finished 7th in the WICA region last season as well. And then moving to Winona State, they welcome back sophomore Bryce Schultz for her 2nd season after she earned the 2022 NCGA All-American Honors, which is an amazing honor. So I'm really excited to see her and highlight her gymnastics here today. Yeah. And, oh, sorry, one more thing. Winona State finished 5th in their WICA last season.
So there'll be a little competition between the WICA conference.
There is.
Here.
And the state of Minnesota has such competitive gymnasts, so it's really exciting to see everybody here in the state just represent the sport.
And Minnesota also has a really big club scene, and so there's a lot of club gymnasts here. The University of Minnesota does a great job at showcasing those gymnasts in the beginning of the meet, and after the meet they have each club go out and do a routine. So it's a fun night for gymnasts, young and old.
Yes, it is.
Because college gymnasts are considered old.
Oh my goodness. It is fun to come back here and see how awesome gymnastics has progressed and how these athletes are still holding gymnastics to such a high standard and presenting themselves so well. So really exciting night for us tonight.
Yeah, and as we're getting ready to get the competition kicked off, we'll go over a little bit about the Gophers last season. The Gophers had their best season in school history, finishing 6th in the NCAA at the NCAA National Championships. They lost 4 really impactful seniors, though. 3, Lexi, Anna, and Hannah. But they have a huge senior team this year, so they still have 8 seniors and a lot of experience, especially competing on big stages like the Big Ten championships and the NCAA championships. But they've also welcomed some really impactful freshmen. They have 4 freshmen that you will get to see tonight. It's also a treat that there are going to be 2 exhibition spots per rotation, and so those girls who didn't make the top 6 in the lineup we'll be able to see them hopefully in those other 2 exhibition spots.
And those exhibition spots are so important because it gives that athlete the feeling of competing without actually counting for that score.
Right.
And then having that depth is so important as you go through season and postseason. You need to have that depth in case, God forbid anything happen. So you just have to have that in your back pocket to make sure your athletes are prepared and ready to compete when you call upon them.
Yeah, and it makes the rest of the team feel confident in their rotation or in that lineup too, is to say like, okay, let's say I'm having an off night in the warm-up, I know my teammate can step in for me, and it really pushes everyone to be their best and be competitive with themselves and with their team.
And there is a confidence builder. These girls have been practicing, they've been doing gymnastics their whole life, and they practice throughout the season, but once you get that first meet over with, get those jitters out. They kind of did that in the inner squad, but this first one's really going to solidify it and then just send them on their way for a great season.
Yeah, I'm excited. And this is pretty much the first meet for all the teams here. The Gophers did have an inter squad in the beginning of December, but this is really the kickoff for all these Minnesota teams. Right now, we're just in the middle of the 4-minute time warm-up. All of the gymnasts have already warmed up on their events. However, it might be 2 or 3 hours since they've last touched this event, so they just need to get one touch in, get comfortable, get warm.
Exactly.
So
and since they warmed up on their last event, it's been half an hour. So it's just a safety concern. Just get them warmed back up and get acclimated with the apparatus. And while we have this moment, let's take a moment to appreciate these leotards. They are so beautiful, and I hope it comes across on the screen. They are so sparkly. They are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, every single team.
I know, I love the unveiling of all the new leotards.
It's one of my favorite parts.
Of the season.
Yes. Like who's wearing what.
Yeah, and especially from other teams around the NCAA too. I'm like, wow,
little teasers.
I'm impressed.
I know.
It's great. You can tell we're old gymnasts because we're very into, we're like, oh, I would love to wear that Leo.
Yes. Oh, I think about that often.
And like we mentioned, the format tonight is considered a quad meet. That means all events are going at the same time, all the routines are happening at the same time. So it's a fun meet to be able to watch because there's a lot of gymnastics happening. And then how the judging works is there'll be 2 judges on each event. And sometimes in like the conference meets or NCAA postseason meets, they'll have 4 or 6 judges. But in these regular season meets, you only see 2. And then the judges both throw up their score for the gymnast routine, and they average that score. And that's what the final score is. And we'll do our best to try to update you on scores, and we will for sure do it at the end of each rotation for the team standings.
And this is also good practice for postseason, since this is what it's going to be like at the championships and the conference championships. So very good practice. Start them off on a strong note.
Gymnasts have a remarkable ability to drown out all of the noise and all of the chaos that's happening around them. And you would think like, oh, I don't want to be on a beam with this many people or this loud, but they can't tell.
They zone it out. That's what they do in practice. The coaches talk to them about that. They get them mentally prepared for these moments to block out the noise and just focus in on their gymnastics, and they know how to do it.
Yeah, that, like Jenny said, it's something that is actually practiced in the gym, is blasting the music, people chanting the other team's chants in the practice. It's a fun time. Get you used to things.
Fun memories, yes. All right, and it looks like they are wrapping up their touch warm-up, so they'll just have a quick little, we used to call them huggles. They're just meetings with your team that's going to be competing, and it's just kind of centering yourself as an athlete. Coaches give you a last few words of encouragement, and then they're on their way.
And we are going to be kicking off the vault lineup here with Soraya Johnson. Soraya is a freshman for the Gophers.
Her debut as a Golden Gopher.
I believe Soraya competed all 4 events at the inter squad, which is really exciting to have a well-rounded gymnast on
As
the
a
team.
freshman,
As
yep.
a freshman, very impressive. And in this 4-quadrant look, looks like we just wrapped up bars. For Hamlin, that was Sydney Parsons. I'm sorry, that was Danny Jaworski. My apologies.
And taking a look at the floor for Winona State, we have Courtney Knudsen, excuse me. And taking a look at her floor pass, very nice, finish strong. Beautiful routine, great start off for Winona State.
It is a great start. Teammates are happy with that.
And it looks like we are getting ready for vault now. Beautiful lead-off vault. That is Yurchenko laid out full, a slight hop back. It's almost like a shuffle back with the 2 feet, but
Yeah.
that is a great lead-off score. Her position throughout the body, hopefully we'll go through that replay so we can highlight it. It is so beautiful. Check it out here. She's gonna get a nice block off the table, beautiful form, slight leg separation, and then what is new is those lines on the mat, so that kind of tells you the athlete went a little bit crooked as she blocked off. So that could be a potential deduction, but otherwise I think that was a beautiful lead-off vault from our freshman.
Yeah. And we'll take a look at Hamlin on bars. This is Madison Lawrence. And a toe hect, a little bit more of a drop hang on that landing, and a unique dismount. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to get that landing, but a solid routine overall for Hamlin.
Very difficult combination.
It is, yeah, very difficult. And we get to take a look at Gustavus Adolphus here on the beam. And we're shifting to Megan Steensland for the Gophers on vault.
Another beautiful Yurchenko laid out full from the Gophers.
A little bit bigger of a step than Soraya's vault, but she did get in the middle of the line. So I'm not sure if those deductions will even out.
Beautiful form throughout. You can see that step, so that will be a deduction, but another great vault for the Gophers.
I know the Gophers had, I think, 5 out of 6 of their vaults last year as Yurchenko 1.5s. So they're looking to get that depth back to have the majority of their lineup 1.5s. We definitely will see a few tonight, but again, it's early in the season, and it's something that a lot of teams keep in their back pocket until they start getting in those regular season meets in postseason.
And this is a rare moment in a quad meet where no one is going.
I know, I was just thinking that. It's like, this is
The calm.
the judging's a little Slow tonight.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that is okay. As long as it's fair.
I like that.
And we can take a look at Winona on floor.
And we have Camden McSweeney, who I know is a Revolution gymnast here, a local gym. And I actually coached her for a little bit, so very fun to see her out on the floor.
And we're going to take a look at Hallie Remlinger. A great 1.5 there. We'll take a look at that replay. And she does a unique tucked 1.5, still a 10-0 start value.
What I really like there is you can see the distance from the vault, and you saw her almost open up and look for that floor as she was coming around.
Yeah.
Very well performed, and that's going to be a really high score for the Gophers. Oh.
And we had a fall on floor from Camden, unfortunately.
But she got back up and finished that routine. So good for her. Not the start that she wanted, but you know, that's what they train for. They train for moments like these to get up and finish strong. So
yeah,
she did exactly what she was supposed to in a moment like that.
And we have Maya Hooten on the vault. Both Maya and Hallie Remlinger were named 2023 Big Ten Gymnast to Watch, so that is a big honor, and I believe the first time for both of them.
And Maya is very dynamic on vault, so you definitely want to watch this vault. Beautiful.
That was great.
That was beautiful. Way to start off the 2023 season.
She has sticky feet.
She does.
You'll
Let's
see
take
it on
a
the floor too.
Yep. Take a look.
Great height, good distance.
Oh my goodness. And she even brought her heels together. Girl knows how to finish strong.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it. That's going to be a great score for the Gophers.
And over to Gustavus on the beam. Looks like she's going to start with her series, which is 2 skills, sometimes 3 skills connected in a row.
A beautiful back handspring layout step out. Very well performed. Slight bobble on that leap series. Beautifully performed full turn.
Yeah.
Every gymnast has to put a full turn in their beam routine, so it's one of those mandatory requirements.
And Maddie Quarles on the vault.
Huge vault.
Excellent distance.
That is something she is known for, is her distance. Just that technique. Let's take a look at it. And that awesome block off the table, formed throughout, and again, spotting that landing very well.
Yeah.
She did a very good job.
Probably a 1/10.5, 2/10 on the landing. We've definitely seen her stick that cold, but she has amazing height, form, and distance in the air. And we see one score flash from Maddie, 985, which is great. Not sure what the second score is. We'll see what the average is.
And it looks like we're back over with Winona State on floor and Jessica Miley. And so looking at the floor, you can see some mats that are on the apparatus, and that's just extra cushion for the athletes. They go through wear and tear on their joints, and that's just, it's within the limits they can have those. They just have to draw the white lines on the outside. So
no deductions. Great double lay for Hamlin there. She's so excited. That's so fun. And flipping back to the floor.
And to vault.
Gophers.
Another Yurchenko 1.5, and that was beautiful.
Pulled it out. That was great.
And I believe that's the first time I've seen her compete that vault here in the pavilion. I've seen her at practice, but not here. Take a look at it.
Nice.
Beautiful, and that was a really good angle. You can see her looking over her shoulder as she comes down, so all this really great technique. The vault coach is obviously, Jenny Hansen is doing an amazing job with these athletes, teaching them how to spot for that landing and be ready for it.
And we'll get one more exhibition vault here for the Gophers, or one more vault that's an exhibition. Gianna Gertis was 6th in the lineup for the Gophers. Taking a look at Gustavus on beam. We'll start with another series here. A little bit of leg form. Oh, chest.
But she stayed on the beam.
Good.
That's huge. Staying on the beam, because if they hop down or put their hands on the beam, those are different deductions. So she fought for that. Really good job on her part.
That was great. Very difficult single skill right there.
Very solid kick over toss. I would say flu jump, but it's a beat jump. Must be my regional dialect of gymnastics lingo.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately, a little foot slip there on that straddle 3/4.
And we're back over the vault.
That was Marissa Jenks from the Gophers.
And that was in that exhibition position. So this will not count for the team score tonight, but it is just really good practice for her to get out there on the floor. Or the vault, I should say. And so we see her kind of landing on that line a little bit. So again, that goes back to the block, twisting a little bit early off the table. And then she'll just want to work on that height, and they'll get back in the gym and start working on those little details.
We haven't gotten the rest of the team scores in, nor the individual scores. However, the Gophers' starting vault score is a very strong 49.225.
Teams are shooting for that 49 even or higher. Higher obviously is better, but that is like the gold, shooting for gold. So really good start for the Gophers. And
good finish there on bars. Looks like she had a mistake early in her routine, but she got up and finishes strong.
And it looks like there was a judges conference on floor, and that's just when the judges have a discrepancy in scores, so they come together and kind of talk about what they saw and where their differences are, and then they come to a conclusion, and then the scores will pop out. So that's what we're kind of waiting on for floor.
And we'll head over to beam. Just a little bobble there on her full turn.
Very difficult series. Back layout, step out, back layout, step out. She pointed that very well. slight bobble, but she brought it back to the center of the beam. Another difficult combination of elements.
And a pike jump, wolf three-quarter. You don't see too many pike jumps in college gymnastics, so it's always a fun sighting. It is a difficult jump to get both legs up to horizontal or above.
And finish with the pike gainer off the back. That was a very difficult routine, full of difficult elements. Very good job.
Winona's gymnast is getting geared up for her first pass here on floor. Nice double back.
Slight step forward, that will be a deduction, but she was able to get under it and stand up.
Sorry, that was her last pass.
And that's difficult to end with a double back.
Yeah,
and
it is.
I believe it's now an extra bonus if you finish with a double back.
Really?
Okay, maybe we'll have to fact check that. I'll get back to you on that.
We'll fact check that. I'll tell you next home meet.
Yes, there we go.
A fall on that straddle Jaeger right there. She'll either get up and repeat the skill if it's part of her credits or connections. We could really go into depth on all the scoring and the bonus and points that you need to make up your routine. But we'll save you the time and just say, typically things need to be connected in order to get credit and start at that coveted 10.0 start value, which most of the routines here tonight do start at a 10.0, and then the judges just deduct from there.
A beautiful transition to the low bar.
So a little leg separation on that giant full, but connects it straight to a double back. Great finish. That was good. And coach is giving a few last-minute pep talk to the Gustavus gymnast. I always like that last-minute pep talk from the coach. Just kind of repeating some of your key words, giving some confidence, someone to talk to so you're not so nervous. And so the last to end are typically beam and floor, and that'll be that way throughout the rest of the night.
Looks like we're back to all four, so we can see both athletes competing. Beautiful double pike over there on the floor. We can talk about that anchor position. How important is that anchor spot?
Yeah, the anchor spot, so there's 6 gymnasts in a lineup and 5 scores count. So you really want someone who is not only reliable, but that can score really high, because the hope is that your scores build throughout that lineup. And so there's a lot of strategy actually that goes into deciding the order of those 6 girls. Great dismount there.
Beautiful finish.
Nice,
a very strong routine from Gustavus.
But typically you want someone who is super consistent in that first spot, but maybe does not always scores the highest, to get the team on a great note, and someone they know is always going to hit, so they don't have to start with a fall and have the rest of the 5 girls needing to hit.
They set the tone of that rotation.
Right. And so from there, they build the order of 2 through 5, and then typically leave that anchor spot for, again, someone who's super consistent, does well under pressure in case there were some mishaps during the other 5 girls before them. It looks like we're just waiting for that score to be raised on floor. And then we'll get kicked off with Winona.
Little over rotation on that round off double pike. A beautiful round off 1.5 punch layout. Really strong second pass.
That'll be a common pass you'll see tonight. A lot of girls use that as a connection in order to put 2 difficult skills together. I know that was my pass because I was not a strong front tumbler, but that is considered a
forward moving pass.
Yeah, forward moving pass. She is clearly good at front tumbling because she just had a front 1.5 twist right there.
And very difficult to end with that pass.
Yeah,
very
good.
strong routine. A little unfortunate in the beginning, but she did a really good job of finishing because that sometimes can be really hard if you start that first pass with a fall and get up and finish the routine. So good for her, getting back up, finishing that routine strong, and finishing for her team.
Yeah, it also kind of does a lot to your energy levels too. A floor routine is surprisingly very difficult. They practice a lot of endurance routines and things to make sure that they have enough energy to do that last pass really well. And so sometimes when there's a mishap during the routine, it kind of throws off your like breathing and like what you practice. So she did a really good job at adapting
finishing her
to that.
showmanship, yes, and finishing that routine strong.
It looks like we have one more competitor on the floor for Winona. But to tally up the final first rotation scores, we have Minnesota with a 49.225, Winona with a 46.125, Gustavus with a 44.925, and Hamlin with a 42.4. And we get that green flag raised from the head judge. Ooh, difficult wolf turn. It's not a requirement to do a turn on floor, but I love that she does it, and she's good at it.
She sure is. Gearing up for her first pass. Punch Rudy split. I always love watching floor because you get to see the gymnast personality kind of come out, and they get to really showcase their abilities and their showmanship.
Yeah.
Difficult lead combination there.
see her teammates cheering her on in the corner. Your teammates give you a lot of energy during your floor routine.
They sure do.
It's always helpful, and it's fun when they do your dance with you. Nice 1.5 front tuck right there.
And strong routine for Winona State.
All right, Gopher fans, that concludes our first rotation. Let's go on.
And that wraps up our first rotation. A lot of exciting gymnastics. And we are going to take a quick break before we go into the second rotation. Stay tuned. Welcome back, gymnastics fans. We have the Gophers on the uneven bars, Hamlin gearing up for beam, Winona on the vault, and Gustavus on the floor. We're excited to see some big gymnastics from all four of these teams. As all of the gymnasts are doing their touch warm-up, we're seeing some great release moves from the Gophers, some big height
on the vault, and some beautiful gymnastics on beam and floor. So an exciting rotation for sure.
Since we'll be mostly focused on the bars, some things to look out for. Every routine will have some sort of a release move. You'll see a variety of them, whether they're Jaegers or Tkachevs. We're going to see, before we get started with that, we'll see a quick highlight reel of the last rotation. That was probably the highlight of the vault rotation. A huge 1.5 stuff. Another huge 1.5 for Maddie Quarles.
And just for the Gophers to have those 3 back-to-back, Yurchenko 1.5s is so strong, so awesome. So early in the season, and they're just going to keep building on it, getting more consistent. So really strong start for the Gophers over here on vault. And they're going to continue and move that to bars.
All right, folks, we're going to get this second rotation started. We got Hamlin on beam, we got Gustavus on floor, we got Winona State on vault, and we got your Minnesota Gophers on bars. Gymnasts, that concludes your 4-minute touch. Judges, you may take control of your event.
And all 4 teams are doing their huddles. This normally consists of the 6 gymnasts who are on or in the lineup. I know when we were on the team, we also had another huddle of the girls who weren't in that event lineup, and we made it our goal to be the loudest and most supportive and most positive and most cheery.
And that's important, though, keeping up that energy and really supporting those girls, you know, that are in that lineup and have that pressure on them. So it's an important role.
It is.
Some of my favorite moments are in that huddle, so.
I know. A lot of good memories.
I'm taking a look at the second rotation with all 4 events going at the same time.
A unique series here, a back handspring, straight to a side aerial, a little wobble on that ending.
It's very important that that leadoff person fights to stay on that beam, and that's exactly what she's doing. So really good start for Hamlin over here on beam.
And bar coach Rich Stinger. Sometimes I say Stinger, but it's Stenger. Sorry, Rich. Is talking to Soraya Johnson, a freshman. So Soraya led off vault, and she's leading off bars. So
that just shows the responsibility that she has and the coaches have upon her to start this Gopher team off on a strong note.
That's really exciting. Slightly short on that first handstand, but you'll see her release move here.
Beautiful transition, high to low.
Great.
Her form throughout is gorgeous. Very difficult Stalter. And fought for that stick, so she probably will get a deduction because her chest did go lower than her knees, but what a way to start.
That was a great way to start.
I got the goosebumps. Let's take a look at it again. That is so difficult. I don't know if you can see that, but her legs did not touch the bar as she went around, and that just takes so much core strength,
lot of ab
body
strength.
awareness,
Yeah.
and then finish it off with that strong dismount. So very good start.
And a little bit of a lull here in the action.
Probably this box.
And Rich is talking to Gianna Gertis. Gianna is looking to continue upon the momentum that Soraya gave for that first routine. Gianna has amazing form on bars and all of her gymnastics in general. Really great lines, exactly what the judges are looking for. And looks like Soraya got a 9.775, an average of those two scores that were just flashed. Pretty solid start for the Gophers. And I believe this is Emma Esteb from Gustavus.
And we've moved back over to the bars with Gianna Gertis. Beautiful transition from high to low. A little split on that right as she caught the low bar. Beautiful last handstand and gearing up for this dismount.
Wow.
Huge dismount.
Dismount is above the bar from one of the flips. Amazing.
Perfectly, technically perfect.
Yeah. Just the very tiny scoop on the
Let's take a look at that
landing.
dismount again.
One twist, about, well, almost two. Yeah, just a tiny scoop. That was great.
Another strong start for the Gophers. Or another strong routine, excuse me.
And another 9.775 for Gianna Gertis. And we have Marissa Jenks here, third up for Gophers on bars. A little pep talk from her teammate right before she gets to the salute. One of the things that all teams really focus on bars is hitting those handstands. That's a way that deductions really add up if you're not in that handstand position, and depending on how far off you are, that's how much you're deducted. And so top college gymnasts, you'll see them doing a handstand and literally just holding it on the bar. And it's very impressive, and it really puts a reminder in the judge's mind of like, hey, I hit it, I'm not going anywhere.
You can't take that deduction from me.
Yeah. Great way to start. And a little bit short on that clear hip handstand. That'll be a small deduction, but a good connection into the shoot over.
And gearing up for that dismount. Huge double layout. Perfectly stuck. Beautiful. And that's something else that we want to talk about. Caitlin talked about that statement that that handstand puts. And another statement is this stuck landing. So let's take a look at it here. You know, she does that flip over the bar. Her feet are planted, doesn't move them. Really great gymnastics there.
And in gymnastics, it really comes down to the slightest of deductions. Meets will be won by a .025, which isn't really even a deduction that judges give. It's just like an average of scores sometimes. And so that's like a toe point.
Exactly, and every little point matters.
Yeah, every single point matters. So even if there's a mistake in your routine, that's so you cannot give up. You have to keep going and get all the tenths that you can, because who knows, that might be a routine that your team has to count.
Just highlighting, Winona State had a beautiful Yurchenko laid out, slight shuffle back, but it was a very good vault for Winona State. And difficult jump combination, pike straddle quarter. And difficult gainer dismount, but strong finish for Hamlin.
And we have Hallie Remlinger on the bars. Big release move here to start.
And I love that exclamation point with those handstands. Look at her finishing right at the top. There's almost like a little pause.
Good transition, a little bit early on that foot split before when she put her feet back on the bar, but huge dismount. Oh, just a slight step there. Looked like she was very slightly over-rotated.
Let's take a look at that again. You can see that second, or her first flip over the bar.
Yeah.
And just like Caitlin said, just slightly over-rotated, had to take that step back. So that will be a deduction.
One thing to note when we're talking about step deductions, it's less of, the judges want to see you stepping in the movement of the skill. So in Hallie's case, if she was going back, so she took a step back, that's less of a deduction as if you were going back and then you take a step forward, meaning you're a little bit short on the skill, or that's what we typically call it, is short. Or just didn't get quite enough rotation.
We caught that last half of another really strong vault over here from Winona. They are rocking it over here on the vault.
And a 9.75 from Hallie. This is Tiari Salas getting geared up on the bars. She has a really unique bar routine. She has a coquina in her routine, which is fun to see in college gymnastics. Good save there. That's the handstand you want to see. Go straight into that release move. Very well executed.
I love that skill. She does it so well.
There we go. Great dismount.
And that was an exclamation point stuck dismount, if I can say so myself. That was a beautiful routine from Tiari. Let's take a look at it again. So you can kind of see her with her arms bent, and I'm assuming that that is a technique that Rich has kind of instilled in her to keep her chest up, to keep all those points and kind of glue her to that mat so she doesn't shuffle. So
yeah,
really good job on her part, remembering that cue and then performing it so well.
Yeah. And a nice stuck dismount there for Hamlin. And we see Gustavus with the final tumbling pass. Oh, just a little bit short on that connection. I don't know if she buckled out of her front full, but didn't quite get the bounce she needed from the floor
to complete that rotation.
Right.
And it looks like we have Maya Hooten gearing up for her debut on bars tonight.
A solid 9-8 from Tiari Salas. Good handstand, starting off with a difficult piked Jaeger straight into that overshoot. A lot of connection there. That was beautiful. Slight hop on that dismount. I know she wanted that stick.
But what a dynamic routine. I love that she's so aggressive in her swing and all her gymnastics. Let's take a look at this. You can see how aggressive she is on that handstand and then going into that dismount. Really working the bar. And then just that slight little shuffle.
One thing that's difficult with those twisting dismounts is you really want to make sure your hips are landing directly straight. And if they're not, that sometimes causes that under rotation or a little bit of that side step.
And moving back over to the beam with Hamlin, a beautiful back handspring step out, layout step out. Into her leap combination. A slight balance check on there, but really good recovery.
Good save there on that side aerial. Side aerials are difficult because it's a forward moving scale, but also to the side. And so you really have to make sure you are aggressive on that scale to make sure you go over the top. Solid dismount.
Another strong routine from Hamlin. And we're back over to the bars. Here comes a big release move.
Great Ginger. Oh, just a little short for Maya.
So now the athlete will get 30 seconds to re-chalk up, gather herself, and coach will go talk to her and kind of figure out a plan on how to finish that routine. You did see her miss the bar, and she fell safely on that mat. So that is a safety precaution, just because falling from that height, having that extra cushion is just really protecting the athlete. So they train for that. They train how to fall safely. So that was a well-performed, safe fall.
It always seems scary to the audience who hasn't seen a fall like that before, but that's probably the best way she can do it. And a good job getting enough swing there for her overshoot. That is a difficult thing to adapt mid-routine. Gearing up for a dismount, a difficult double lay. She did a good job at pulling that through.
Very strong finish. And that combination of elements is very difficult. Let's highlight this dismount first. Beautiful double layout. You can see that technique that Rich is teaching them to keep their chest up. Very nice. Yeah. But going back to the combination, that is a really difficult combination because you are doing that large release move and you have to make sure you are secure before you go for that second element. And I performed that combination, so I know intimately how secure you have to be, and it's a quick decision if you have it or you don't. So it's better for her to be safe. We're early in the season. Be safe and work on that at home at practice, and then come back and compete it perfectly next time.
Yes.
Way to fight for that. Slight balance check on there. She did have, or I don't believe she touched the beam, which is good because then that's an additional deduction if she did touch the beam, but very good save on that.
I like that full turn, the inverse. Honestly, I don't know what that's technically called. I call them backwards full turns.
Yeah. It just shows unique individuality over on beam.
And another unique dismount, a front full. Those I imagine would be difficult to stick because you're not only having a blind landing, which means you can't necessarily spot the floor when you're landing, but you're adding a twist to it. So you need to make sure you are fully done with your twist before you land. And we have a second exhibition here for the Gophers, Mallory Leneve.
Beautiful Tkachev.
Just a little short on that shoot over. That's what caused that bent arm on that landing.
And a slight step on that dismount, but otherwise a strong routine. She did a really good job of trying to finish it, you know,
Yeah.
with that little bent arm trying to fight for that handstand.
Yeah.
It could just get you off a little bit, but a good, strong finish from her.
She might have let go a touch too early, too. Maybe a little bit earlier than she's used to on that dismount.
Taking a look at Gustavus over here on floor.
Great 1.5 front. I love her hair.
I
So
do
cute.
too. I have to say, gymnastics has changed so much even since we've been in it.
Yeah.
You know, I give credit to both athletes and coaches. They're allowing themselves to have their individuality, and there's so many different unique skills that you see combined together. I feel like for a long time it was very consistent skills that you would see in college gymnastics, but now they have just opened the book and they're throwing all these new skills out there, and it's really beautiful to see
Yeah.
as a former athlete. So kudos to y'all out here on the gymnastics floor.
And it also is really fun when a gymnast debuts.
Good fight. Oh man, I thought she
Almost
had that.
I thought so too.
And sometimes it's tricky. You like throw those arms back and get the momentum to come back, and you think you have it, and then you just
it's
lose it
not
again.
quite enough.
The constant battle of beam.
A nice save on that full turn. Try to dance through it.
I love how she goes on full toe point. That takes so much confidence as a non-beamer. Love to see that. So she is a true beamer going all the way on those tippy toes.
You can tell that she's confident up there. Not quite enough height to wrap that 1.5 through. So you had to take that side step. Yeah, you'll see that she's still twisting as she's coming into the ground, but she made it through and really fought for that landing.
So over on floor, we are seeing that judges conference. Again, we kind of explained it earlier, but there is some discrepancy on one thing or another, and the judges come together to kind of discuss what they saw, where their differences are, come to a conclusion, and then they'll go back to their separate tables. But
Yeah.
it's good to keep everybody consistent, and it looks like the head judge is coming over to just make sure she can help iron out any issues that they're having. But so that's what the delay is that we're seeing here.
Yeah. The judges are actually required to conference when they're more than 2/10 difference in each other and the scores that they've given the gymnast. Or sometimes if there's a difference in start value, let's say one starts them at a 10, one starts them at a 9-8. That means one of the judges gave credit for a skill and one didn't. So they got to agree on what they thought the true, what's the word? The true score of what
Points
the
earned,
routine
or yeah,
should be.
tenths earned, yeah.
Yeah. And how routines are comprised for college is that you'll start at a 9.5, and then you'll have bonus points, which are given through big skills or connections to get you up to that 10.0 start value. And so most of the gymnasts start at that 10.0, which is pretty typical in college gymnastics. And then some of them even have more than a 10. They don't deduct from like a 10.4. They still deduct from a 10, but it gives them some buffer room in case there is a connection loss during the routine. They don't have to go and connect a random skill in their routine to get that bonus back.
So we can see the coach talking to her athlete. You know, this kind of happens a lot in gymnastics. There's those conferences and that lull in between routines. So it's really important that the coach kind of keeps their athlete in that. Oh, nope, it looks like she's going. So keeping them mentally ready for the routine. Oh, I thought she had it.
She did too.
Looks like she had to put her hands down just ever so slightly.
So that'll be counted as a fall. That's a 5/10 deduction. And the judges are looking for 180 degrees in that straddle or the split. And if it's not 180, they'll deduct for that.
Showing off her personality with this choreography.
She was able to save that at the end there. That was great.
Good routine over for Gustavus.
And we'll be heading into our third rotation of gymnastics. You'll see our standings there on the bottom right corner. Minnesota has a 98.125, Winona with a 93.9, Gustavus with a 90.175, and Hamlin with an 86.975. We're going to take a quick break again before we go into our third rotation. Stay tuned. We are back in our third rotation. Minnesota's on the beam, Winona's on the bars, Hamlin's on the floor, and Gustavus is on the vault. We have about 45 seconds left in our time warm-up, and then we will get started into our routines.
All right, thanks for dancing with the Gophers.
A little bit of a recap of last rotation. Get to see some of these great Gopher dismounts.
All right, gymnastics fans, we got 30 seconds.
Had a lot of sticks like Marissa there.
Are you with me in getting the waves going?
Have that beautiful release move and her dismount. That was great.
All the way down. We're gonna throw it across.
Huge. That thing goes way over the bar. Love it.
Are you ready? Here we go.
And a sky-high dismount from Maya. As we move into this third rotation, on the beam, it's really important to watch, one, for those straight legs in all of the series. Again, I mean, of course, no wobbles. And doing as best you can to prevent those balance checks. Judges will also be looking for 180 split or higher on any switch leaps or split jumps or straddle jumps. And then, like everything in gymnastics, the stuck landing.
Exactly.
And Geraldine is the beam coach for the Gophers. Geraldine was a many, many time All-American for the University of Alabama.
The gymnastics great.
Gymnastics great. Was an elite gymnast.
Third rotation, we've got Hamlin.
Gophers are great to have, or lucky to have her.
Winona stayed on bars. And Minnesota.
And she's been with the Gophers since 2014.
She's
That season, 2015, because that was my senior year. So
Yeah.
it's been a good time.
Some noise.
Yeah.
it's her 8th year, I believe.
Yep.
Same with Rich. Rich came in that year as well. And Jenny Hansen, who's the head coach for the Gophers, she's been the head coach for 9 years. She was also a Gopher gymnast and was an assistant coach for the Gophers before she was a head coach. So she's had a lot of longevity with the program and has really led the program to some record-breaking seasons.
Yep, to its highest season last year as 6th place.
And a school record. A team score, I should say. And I'm sure many other records on top of that. We have Emily Cook here. A great series.
I've loved watching her blossom into this strong leadoff performer on this event. You know, as a junior, she's been in this position before, and she sets the Gophers off on a strong start. Very reliable gymnast on this event.
Look at that.
Love that
That's beautiful.
skill. So beautiful.
You'll see a lot of girls do that kick over front and land on 2 feet, but she lands on 1. Amazing dismount stuck.
What a
Honestly, not much
start.
deduction there.
No, honestly, I didn't see anything. And it's fun, too, because she's a homegrown athlete from Bloomington, Minnesota. So
Wow, just right down the road.
very fun to see.
And that was Brianna Weichel from Hamlin. And we'll take a look at Jessica Miley here on the bars for Winona.
Getting a little pep talk from her teammate over here. From a senior to a freshman. That bond is so beautiful to see. The
Yeah.
upperclassmen with the lowerclassmen. Just instilling that knowledge, a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. So very cool to see.
I know a lot of teams do like the buddy system or the sister system, where a freshman is paired with a senior or junior. And that kind of sticks with you for life, to be honest.
Your little family.
Yeah. Oh, just a little short on that Svashnikova.
And that again is that safe landing. So that athlete knew how to safely fall on that. So she remained safe.
And we see Soraya Johnson for the third time tonight for the Gophers. A fun mount.
Showing off that beautiful flexibility she has.
A great kick over front into the back handspring. That counts as her series. I think they'll give that to her. She had just the very slightest pause. But we'll see what happens with the scores.
Beautiful height on that switch side. And I like how she goes on full toe point too.
Nice.
Difficult.
That is difficult. Great dismount, stuck.
What a beautiful debut she's having.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
starting off so solid for the Gophers. That's
Very
got to
strong.
feel so good as a freshman.
And to be out here as a freshman and to really solidify yourself as someone who can handle pressure well and not make any of those nervous mistakes that sometimes comes out your first time competing in a huge meet. So she did a really great job.
She's going to have a beautiful career here at Minnesota.
In a stuck layout there for Gustavus. That was solid.
Very nice. Heading over to bars with Winona State. Looks like she's gearing up for a big release move. Straddle Jaeger.
And short on that handstand, a little bit of leg separation on the bail. And gearing up for her dismount. And a lot of gymnasts, you'll see them do an E dismount, so that's a double lay or a full twisting double back, but she actually does a full twisting giant straight into a double back, and so that gives you an equal amount of bonus to make that connection. It's important though for the giant full that you want to end that in a handstand before you begin your double back. We have third up Gianna Gertis on the beam for the Gophers. It looks like that they did not give Soraya Johnson that connection. So she started at a 9.7, but still got a 9.625. So that would have been an absolutely huge score. Great first pass there for Hamlin. Full twisting front layout to a front tuck.
And a different angle here, we could see vault and floor going at the same time. Very strong Yurchenko layout and moving back to the beam.
Just a slight wobble on that front aerial there. looks like, there we go. That was a great series. Great jump series. She had a bobble right there. But that ring jump, I think it's really coming back into fashion. It's a really difficult jump. You have to throw your head back on the beam, and so you don't get to spot the landing. But we're seeing more and more gymnasts do it. Difficult back handspring to gainer full.
Strong routine.
Strong routine. And you'll see she has one foot on the beam and the other foot swoops through the beam, gets that good height on that gainer. So all of her power comes from that kicking leg and pushing off the beam with the leg that is on the beam.
And over on bars, there was a fall from Winona State, so she is just finishing up her routine nice and strong here. And a beautiful tuck double back to finish that routine. And we saw a pike souk, or a laid out souk, excuse me, over on vault.
A difficult wolf 1.5 jump there on floor. Gearing up for her first pass. In the meantime, we will see freshman Brooklyn Rogre on the beam. Beautiful.
Very solid. I am very impressed with these freshmen over here on the Gopher team. Just solid, cool, composed athletes.
In beam, you want to show the judges that you have complete control, just like Brooklyn did right there. You don't want any question in their mind. So you need to land all the skills super tight. Few deep breaths for her dismount.
And a slight little
Solid.
step on that dismount.
Yeah.
Another strong routine.
There were no balance errors at all throughout that entire
None.
routine. Really, the only deduction I noticed is this slight step on the dismount, which would be a half tenth to a tenth.
So very slight.
And Winona had that giant full stacked right on top of the bar.
That was beautiful.
Great.
Great technique.
A little short on that last handstand, gearing up for her dismount, but she has a toe shoot to a front. And Geraldine is just talking to Maya. We see a solid 9.825 for Brooklyn, the previous competitor. Maya competed a few times on beam last year, and I think she's going to frequent this beam rotation more this year. And Maya will be competing all around tonight. So we'll get to see her perform on floor in the 4th rotation. A little wobble on that front aerial. I don't think she'll get credit for that series, which is unfortunate. A little bit lower start value.
Drop that chest a little bit. You can kind of see that, a little reaction on her face. She knew she almost lost her balance, but stayed on that beam. That's what's important. The name of the game on beam is stay on.
I like that dance pose.
And
good
finish off
dismount.
strong. I like her technique on that. You could see her really looking for that landing too and opening up. So
Flare out of it.
And we'll probably take a look at it here. And spots the landing. Little step back.
Not her normal routine, I would say, on beam. Definitely some balance checks, but she is such a strong athlete. This might just be first meet of the season nerves and getting back out there.
So let's give a shout out to the pit crews of these teams, you know, running these mats around, knowing where things go. It's very, very important to streamline the process of, you know, competing at this level with all these things going on, having the right mat, making sure you know where each mat goes for each athlete. It's very important, and they don't get a shout out often, so I just want to give them credit. So you go, pit crew.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole thing to practice too. Like, each girl has their specifications on where their mats need to be. So I have to memorize all of the girls' mat locations. Man, without the team managers, it would be a rough meet.
Tough, yes.
They make the meet go round. And we have a freshman anchoring the Gopher beam lineup. This is Sarah Mora. Sarah is from Michigan.
And competing here her first time as a Gopher. That handspring layout step out, very solid.
Great split three-quarter there. A lot of gymnasts have trouble getting that 180 split when they're turning, but she was able to hit that nicely. And no trouble there on that front aerial. That was beautiful. And looking, just gearing up for that dismount, back handspring gainer, stuck. That is what the Gophers needed.
And they are excited about that. What a way to finish. Anchor spot as a freshman.
Impressive.
That is impressive. And I hope we do replay that dismount because I love the technique that she has here. Look at how it lifts off the beam. Beautiful height. Slightly piked down on that as she's coming around for her full. So just a little form deduction, but I really liked how you could see her rise off of that swing gainer.
Yeah. And a great routine there for Hamlin on the floor. I like the high five line at the end. That's fun. Solid 985 for Sarah Mora on the beam.
And taking a look at Winona State over on the bars, gearing up for a piked Jaeger. Again, with that safe landing, so she's gonna hop back up on that bar and finish that routine. we kind of missed that mount, but it's a very difficult mount. So she started facing away from the beam and just jumped backwards and caught the beam. It's like a trust fall, but kind of not really. But it is very difficult, high level, and she does get bonus for that. So very cool mount.
Good save on that series. You see that she kind of swooped her foot through. That'd be a really minor deduction, but no balance check technically. Another one of those ring jumps. That was beautiful.
I love them. They're gorgeous.
Great dismount, very slightly short. Didn't quite get as much power off the beam as we saw from Sarah previously. But overall, a really great routine. And this is Ella Ciorda in the exhibition spot. And so it's great to have another solid, beautiful routine waiting in case they want to have her go in the 6-person lineup. So we are finished with the competitors on the rest of the 3 events. We're just finishing up here on floor for Hamlin. It looks like that was supposed to be a running punch front 1.5. Couldn't quite get that last half done, but was able to dance out of it well.
Showing off some beautiful dance work here. Strong second pass with that 1.5 punch pike.
And a great routine for Hamlin. I think that about wraps up our 3rd rotation. Take a quick look at these event results. Total tallies for Minnesota, 146.875. Gustavus, 138 flat. Winona, 137.825. And Hamlin with a 133.65. Overall, really solid meet.
Great 3rd rotation.
I'm really looking forward to the Gophers ending on the floor. I think that's always for the home crowd, a fun event for them to end on. And it's fun because the club girls who come to a lot of the meets learn the Gopher routines, and this early in the season, they actually get to see a lot of routines unveiled because they're new routines.
And that always is so fun as a spectator.
Yeah.
And as an athlete, like being able to show off that new routine you've just worked on. So
Yeah.
we will have a treat when we come back.
Yes, so stay tuned. Welcome back, gymnastics fans. Fourth rotations, warm-ups are underway. We have about 40 more seconds until the action happens.
And we wrap up the Best of Minnesota meet.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights. That was definitely a highlight of the first rotation. First two dismounts stuck cold.
Series and a dismount. Talk about some highlights. These freshmen.
Oh, yeah.
Freshman phenoms over here on beam. I love to see that. Geraldine's got to be happy with how they performed tonight, and that's just going to set the tone for the rest of the season.
Yes. And it's great to see them scattered throughout the lineup, and especially that anchor spot.
We can kind of talk about the dynamics of, you talked about it earlier, Caitlin, how coaches will put athletes in. It's very strategic. It's very like planned out. Kind of talk more about that and how they find the athlete that fits in which spot.
Yeah. And it's also a process to decide who's in which spot, and they'll be trying out a whole bunch of different combinations of lineups to make sure that that is the right one before the end of for the postseason. And sometimes, like I mentioned before, you really want to build the score, and so the judges might leave a little bit of room for that score to build with the first girl up, thinking that hopefully the routines get progressively higher, like higher ability to score high. I said that wrong, but hopefully.
I definitely knew what you were saying, that ability to score, yes.
Yeah. And sometimes, I know it's like all psychology, but to get in kind of the judges' minds, and the coaches are trying to get in the judges' minds of what they might think. But that quarter 10th, half 10th, anything you can get matters. So, and we are underway. We saw a little fall there on the bars for Gustavus, but a great leadoff performer on beam here with Camden Sweeney.
Yes.
McSweeney, sorry. And we'll get started here with Marissa Jenks on the floor. We saw Marissa last year in the floor lineup, and this is her first time in this leadoff spot. Difficult front double twist. That is actually an E skill.
Very high level. So it starts at A and goes all the way up, and so E is very difficult. So very strong first pass, and having that as your leadoff performer just shows the depth that the Gophers have this year on floor. And I love that little dance out of her tumbling pass. So that was a idea that both the coaches and the athlete, came up with when they were doing choreography, which is done by Geraldine Stinger, knowing that maybe she sometimes has a lot of power in that pass, so dancing out of it just helps control that and keep those tense. So smart gymnastics over here on floor.
A little side hop on that Rudy, that would be, and then try to step off the mat. A little bit more of a deduction.
A beautiful routine, great leadoff performer. Minnesota consistently is very strong on floor, and it's always a highlight to see the new routines that they come up with. Let's take a look at this replay here. And it looked like she did complete that twist all the way around, but just was a tad bit short and had to take that hop step forward.
And we see that Yurchenko tuck on the vault.
Very good lift off the table, so very good technique on her behalf.
This is Kendra Aiken on the beams for Winona. Winona started off with an 8.85 from Camden McSweeney. Unfortunately, a fall there on that side aerial. think she was going to connect that into another side aerial. And this is Megan Steensland on the floor for the Gophers. This will be a brand new routine for the Gophers because Megan is a freshman from Eden Prairie, Minnesota.
Another homegrown athlete.
Very difficult 2.5 to a front tuck connection. Front leg a little bit low on that switch ring. I like little maracas. That's fun.
I do too. Very fun routine.
Yeah, his routine's high energy. And ending with a difficult double pike. Great job at pulling that around. And a great debut floor routine for Megan.
So impressed with these freshmen. It just speaks to the depth that this Gopher team, or these freshmen, are bringing to this Gopher team. Taking a look at that last pass.
You see most people end with a double tuck, not a double pike, so that's especially difficult. And just waiting for the flag here on beam for Winona. Third up on the floor is Gianna Gertis. Gianna was a staple in the floor lineup last year. Difficult front through a double back.
And she
Unfortunately,
did step out of bounds, so we did see the hand, or judge's hand, go up, so that will be a deduction.
You saw that she tried to save it, like she went on toe point with her back foot. She was aware that she was a little far in the boundaries. But Gianna has beautiful dance, really shows it off.
Strong second pass. And a beautiful ending position. That is a really cool pose, very unique.
Great routine. Let's look at that last pass again. You see that she just floats, and it looks light and looks effortless, which is the goal. Just a little crunched on that entry there from the Yurchenko, which caused her to land a little short on that landing.
How you feeling?
You're halfway through this fourth rotation. The other events might begin to wrap up soon. However, floor is normally the last to end. And so we have 4 more great routines on the floor to debut. First, let's take a look at bars for Gustavus. Oh, that was a good save there. It looked like she was going to overshoot the bar a little bit, but she was able to get her hands on. So she'll just have to regroup and finish up the routine. This is Emily Cook. Emily has been the leadoff on floor at least for 2 years.
Her time here, with the Gophers. And is she debuting a new routine, I see?
Yes. And starts off with that difficult,
just slightly under-rotated. She tried to save it, but had to take that fall and sit back on that. But
I've never seen her do that before, so that was unusual for Emily.
great height on those leaps, though. She really gets up there.
And she does her back pass right here, which is fun because it's in the a side pass versus the normal diagonal tumbling pass. And she ends here with a Rudy, very clean, no deductions there. Just unfortunate with that fall in the beginning, really uncharacteristic, but it just looks like she didn't quite get that double pushed around enough, so to get enough height to do that front tuck. You see that there's no pike down, her body is straight throughout. One of the Gophers' Big Ten gymnasts to watch. The second Gopher Big Ten gymnast to watch is right after her, Maya Hooten. Hallie opens up with a huge full twisting double back, sky high.
Very difficult.
Let's see if we can take a look at this vault first. A nice Tsuk tuck. Tsuks are actually pretty unusual in college. Most of the time you'll see Yurchenko entries, so that's our round off on the floor, back handspring on the vault. But Tsuks, it's even harder to get that power for the rest of your vault. So they're fun vaults to watch, and that's when you just do a round off onto the vault.
Should we try that again? Because y'all know who's up next now, right?
Taking a look at that big first pass, that tuck full in, very difficult, performed it extremely well.
And lands directly in the corner.
Exactly what you want to see.
Exactly. I like her dance, very powerful. does a great job at stretching out that 1.5 so the layout just shoots right up. The goal, and those passes we've seen all day today, and the goal of it is to, your flip once should be higher than the twist beforehand. We'll end here with a double back.
Beautiful. Chest was very high on that landing. This is going to score big for the Gophers.
This is great. Very solid routine. Let's take a look at this last pass. You see that her legs are glued together, the toes are pointed. She really focuses on those details that sets her apart.
Oh, they're getting excited.
It's gonna be a big score.
I can't see it.
A little mishap with the scoring there. Looks like there was a 19.
1995.
But it's going to be a huge 995. So that means Hallie had 110 from one judge, a 99 from another.
That's awesome.
And
What
take
a way to
look
start
at
up the
this
season. I'm
first.
sorry, Caitlin. You go
No,
ahead.
That's okay. Boots stuck. Perfect.
And the Phenom.
The crowd is going wild for Maya Hooten.
I love it.
Maya's debuting a new routine too, which is super fun. She does a great job at showing off her choreography, getting the crowd engaged. And she also opens up with a huge full twisting double back, which is that E pass. Great. She does a great job at getting that leg straight through the switch side. Beautiful 180 splits. And watch how she performs this. Her pike jump just goes sky high. I love the fan in the back.
I do
She
too.
loves it.
But going back to the technical aspect of what Caitlin was saying, that first flip, she was twisting, and then that second one went above that first one, and that's perfect technique.
Ends here with a difficult double back. Let's see if she'll get the stick. Just a slightest little shuffle.
She was fighting for it.
Yeah. That was a great
She is a
routine.
crowd
That's gonna score
favorite.
it.
There was little things here and there, so we'll see what the judges say, but this is the first routine of the season. She'll definitely hone in on it. Oh, that's a nice play on her last name.
I know. I
like
love
it.
that chant. Everyone in the sports pavilion saying "Who 10," and she has gotten numerous 10s on floor throughout her career here. We do have a few more performers. It looks like we still have Gustavus going on the bars.
Very
Wow.
cool,
That was
low to
really unique.
high
That was cool.
combination. And finishing off strong. Coach is happy about that.
That was great.
First, make some noise for Brooklyn Rory.
That was a fun routine to watch because it was really unexpected.
It was.
She was coming out of the shoot over.
And
I was like,
geared
what's gonna
back up.
happen? But then she caught the bar. It was amazing.
It was.
And this is freshman Brooklyn Rowray. We saw Brooklyn over on the beam. She's in that exhibition spot, starts with a huge double back.
Definitely over 180 on those leaps. You can see beautiful toe point on those. Great leaps. Very powerful music for a powerful athlete. Oh, and she did step out of bounds on that. Oh, man, that will be a 10th deduction. But otherwise, what a beautiful routine from this freshman.
Yeah, that was great. Very impressive freshman class the Gophers have here. And sets really well for that double back, toes pointed in the air. And it looks like we have Sydney Parsons here for exhibition for Winona.
A slight balance check did bring her off the beam, but gearing up for her dismount. Difficult punch, front full. Very well performed. Let's head over to bars. And we're seeing a huge blindfolded Kacha, very difficult combination. Bringing it back up to the high bar, gearing up for this dismount.
Just a little short on that last handstand. A slight tuck in on that dismount, but she saves it. Looks like that's not what she's used to doing either. And looking at some of these final scores, my apologies, I believe this is Sydney Parsons that will be going on exhibition for beam. I think our lineups might have got a little bit mixed up.
And we do have that other exhibition on beam, but it looks like the scores are final, with the Gophers finishing with a 196.075, Gustavus with a 181.025, Hamlin with a 179.675, and Winona State with a 179.550. A really great night of gymnastics.
Yeah, very fun. A lot of high energy.
Yep, representing the state of Minnesota and the depth we have in the gymnastics community here and how much we appreciate this sport in this state. So very cool to see. We'll get to see this athlete highlighted on beam.
Yeah, and it's fun because she gets the whole crowd to herself now. It's like a dual meet.
No pressure.
No pressure. And a lot of states don't have 4 college gymnastics teams, so it's fun that they get to have this meet every year, like Jenny said, and celebrate the state of gymnastics. Solid series. You can see her team cheering her on just on the edge of the mat. And a difficult single skill right there. You saw Soraya Johnson do that earlier as well.
One of those skills that is coming back into popularity, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Very unique, very different, and it's cool to see.
Oh, and a cool dismount. Front gainer off the beam.
Very strong routine from Winona.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our final competitor.
And that wraps up the meet. A night chock full of gymnastics, pun intended.
That was a good one.
Thanks.
We have 4 scores behind Andrew Bennett.
And you see all of the little gymnasts waiting for their autographs. They also do, of course, the paper airplane toss, which happens at the end of every Gopher gymnastics meet. A great way to get the crowd involved.
And a special treat today, Lexi Ramler was signing autographs for
Oh, yes.
fans, so she is somewhere around here, but another Gopher great. Very cool
So
to
if
see
you're
her.
listening, got to get here fast.
Yes.
For the autograph.
You gotta run, don't walk.
Oh, that's funny. What were some of your favorite moments of the meet tonight?
Some of my favorite moments of the meet were some of the great gymnastics from each individual team. We saw some amazing floor routines from each school, huge vaults, and then fighting for those little tenths that I saw on bars and beam. I think that's what I take away from this, is just that fighting spirit in gymnastics. You know, this is the first meet of the season, getting out those little jitters that one could have. So really excited to see how each of these teams progress throughout their seasons.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
And let's take a look at this recap, excuse me.
And Marissa James on floor. Freshman Megan Steensland had a really strong routine. Gianna Gertis with that beautiful double pike. And Emily finishing up her routine strong. And this is where that 110 was thrown out. And a great double back there, no deductions. And ending with Maya Hooten's sky high front pike. And that freshman Brooklyn Rowray in that exhibition spot. Overall, really solid meet. And like we mentioned, this was the first meet out for most of these gymnasts. So it's a great time to get ready for the season, getting out there, practicing those routines, especially if it's a new routine for the gymnast, and just getting that competition spirit underway. And a lot of these girls might have 10, 12 meets this season, competing almost every weekend until April. So it's great for them to not only get used to competing, but get really excited to compete for their team and to do what they love. So if you are a Gopher fan, make sure you stay tuned for the next home meet. That will be January 21st versus Penn State. I'm a fellow Big Ten team, but before then, they'll have an away meet on January 14th at the Wasatch Classic. And I'm actually not sure what teams will be there yet, so check gophersports.com if you are interested.
They will let you know. Or follow them on Instagram, or follow their Twitter.
Yeah, follow all these teams on Instagram or Twitter if you are a gymnastics fan.
To stay up to date on the current news and some fun little insights you see behind the scenes.
Yes, yeah. Well, we are signing off for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the Sports Pavilion for this Best of Minnesota meet, and have a great night.
And stay golden.
Stay golden.
Stanley's